So in module 4 we are going to see about the power system stability. So stability of the power system means, for example, if some disturbance is happened on the transmission line. So these are all the generators. We are having different generators, and if some disturbance is happened into the grid, if some disturbance is happened, then how to control the disturbance. So, and if it is connected like this, so some loads are there, so somewhere some disturbance happen here or here, this synchronization of this generator should be maintained, then only we can call this as a stable. Otherwise, if it is not synchronized, then we will tell the system is not stable. And with respect to different type of disturbance occurred in different areas of the power system, we will classify broadly about the power system stability as power system stability in two categories. One is steady state and one more is transient. So in this syllabus, we are going to only focus on this transient stability analysis or transient state stability. We are going to only focus on this thing. Why? Because this steady state will occur only in the less duration. For example, if this is the time period, only for the less duration we will get this, and also this will be rectified by itself without any external governance or external devices. So we are not going to focus about this steady state, and this steady state further divided into two category. One is dynamic and then one more is static. So this dynamic is due to a small disturbances which is occurred in the system, and it will come back. It will come back is to the normal synchronization. So we will not consider about this dynamic, and the static is nothing but it is available for every time because of the some switches operations, and then governance devices or voltage regulators which is connected to the entire power system. Because of that, there is some disturbances, and this will be taken care by itself without any external modification or anything. This will be taken care by the system itself. But this transient state stability occurred due to because of big disturbances occurred because of say for example some large disturbance due to sudden removal of the load or line switching operation, and some faults occur in the system or sudden outage of the lines. So these are all the big disturbance occurs to the system. At the time a certain amount of synchronization is missing between these generators, so that things we need to take care. So we need to take care about these things. So to understand about all this transient state stability, we need to understand about the swing equation. Before going for the swing equation, first we need to think about the synchronized machines that usually we are using for our power plant. So how this synchronized machine is dynamically represented in the mathematical model. Okay, so first thing we are going to look about the dynamics of the synchronous machine. Dynamics of the synchronous machine. So dynamic of the synchronous machine is nothing but, say for example, if this is the alternator, we are giving some kinetic energy to that, and then we are getting some electrical energy. So PE we are getting here, and then we are giving kinetic energy here. So if you represent this kinetic energy in mathematical model, we know that the universal formula for this is 1 by 2 j omega square. That is omega is for SM, synchronization of this SM, omega square, and then P is nothing but EV divided by X sin del. So this is the universal kinetic energy, and this is power equation we are getting. And then if you see what is J, J is nothing but inertia or rotor moment of inertia. So J is nothing but rotor moment of inertia, and this unit is nothing but kilogram per meter square, kilogram meter square for this J. And then this omega sm is nothing but synchronized speed in the radian as mechanical radian per second. So it is, we are speaking about the mechanical, because this kinetic energy is nothing but some mechanical operation we are doing, that is power given in the mechanical operation. So this synchronization is nothing but synchronized speed in radian per second for mechanical energy. So this is synchronized speed in radian for mechanical per second. And also we can write this as d theta m by dt, because with respect to time, if you differentiate, I will get the mechanical energy theta m with respect to time, means we will get this angular speed or synchronized speed, we will get these things. And we know this theta can be written as theta mechanical can be written as number of poles divided by 2 into theta electrical. So this theta m is nothing but this value. So theta m is nothing but p divided by 2. If you want to convert this mechanical energy or mechanical speed into electrical speed, if you know what is the number of poles in the machine, synchronized machine, if you divide it by 2 and then multiply with this theta e, then we will get this mechanical theta. So we have converted this mechanical to electrical component. If that is the case, and if we apply this value into our normal equation of the kinetic energy, so this kinetic energy is nothing but Ke is equal to 1 by 2 j omega sm square. So it is nothing but megajoules if we are multiplying this with 10 to the power of minus 6. Otherwise, if you want only in the joules, we can remove this minus 6, that is okay, it is taken care by you. And then we know this omega can be taken as omega sm can be written as, and already I said that theta m is equal to 2 divided by p del E. And if you differentiate with respect to dt, then dTm by dt is nothing but 2 by p dTe divided by dt. And I already said that this d theta m is nothing but your omega sm. So this is nothing but omega sm, and this omega sm can be written as, and this is omega, so omega s for electrical, and then 2 divided by p. So now I converted this omega sm of a mechanical thing to electrical thing. So if I want to replace this mechanical kinetic energy into the electrical kinetic energy, then I can further write this as Ke is equal to 1 by 2 j. I replace this omega sm square with this value, and then already one square is there, so obviously I will get 2 divided by p omega s, and this is whole square, omega s whole square. And if I want to convert this in the mega, then I will include minus 6 megajoules. Again this is minus 6 megajoules only. And then we know this moment of inertia m, this is m is nothing but j 2 by p whole square omega s into 10 to the power of minus 6. So this is the moment of inertia. Moment of inertia equation, and if you compare this equation with this equation, I can come to a conclusion this is nothing but m. So finally what I can do is I can write this m m is equal to this value, so I can write this kinetic energy Ke is equal to 1 divided by 2 m omega s. So this will be the final kinetic energy in the electrical quantity. So I just replace this m value with this in the equation, and I will get this this one. From this, if I want to find out the electrical quantity of the moment of inertia, so this m will be, m is equal to 2 into Ke, kinetic energy is nothing but Ke divided by omega s. So this moment of inertia is for the electrical quantity, because I replaced this equation with the electrical quantity. So this will be called as moment of inertia, and the unit for this is megajoules second per electrical radians. In the radians, if you want to measure, we can take this as this value as moment of inertia. And then in general, definition of inertia constant, in general definition of inertia constant is nothing but h. H is nothing but inertia constant. This inertia constant is given as h is equal to kinetic energy stored in the rotor divided by base, because I need to convert this actual unit into the per unit value. So this is the actual unit, I need to convert this into per unit value. So this kinetic energy Ke, kinetic energy stored in the rotor, if you divided that's by base unit is MVA, base of machine, then I will get Ke divided by G, where G is nothing but the base. So this H, inertia constant, I will get as Ke divided by G. Simply divide this Kg by Ke, that is kinetic energy, divided by the base, and I will get this in the per unit. This is per unit for the 3-phase base. So this is 3-phase. For 3-phase base, G is nothing but MVA base of the machine. Okay, and then finally, if I take this base this side, then I will get GH is equal to kinetic energy, and we all know this kinetic energy value is nothing but GH is equal to 1 divided by 2 m omega s megajoules. And then if I replace this with actual value, then m is equal to, what is the m value? We know that m is equal to 2g. If I take this m and other side this side, then I will get 2gh omega s, and this will be written in other words, the omega will be written other words 2gh divided by this omega is 2 pi f. And still I can write in electrical in the degree, if you want to take this quantity in the degree, I can write m is equal to gh whole divided by, so 2 pi is nothing but, I will get 2 cancelled, and pi is nothing but 180, and then 180 f. So this is the unit of megajoules second per electric degree. So if you want to find out this inertia m in degree, we can use this value. G is nothing but the base, and h is nothing but the inertia constant, and f is given to the question, and from this equation I will get the inertia value in degree. The same thing if you want to get in the radian, then what will you do? I will get, so again if I multiply or divide this equation with G, if I divide this equation with G, then I will get m divided by G is equal to h divided by 180 f. So this is again the equation. I am going to find out for the h value. So relationship between the constant of this h I need to find out. If that is the case, I can get from 180 in the degree, otherwise, or I can get this m by G is equal to h divided by pi f in the radians. So both are same. So what is the conclusion after solving this is nothing but, in general, the H is considerably high for steam turbo generator than the water wheels. For example, say for steam turbo, the H is nothing but the inertia. So what this inertia is actually doing is, say for example, if it is turned off because of some disturbance or something is mismatch is happened, because of this inertia our load still will be feeded. So because of the inertia our load is still feeded, or the power is generated because of this inertia only. So some disturbances happened, then the steam will have higher value. The steam turbo is having higher inertia value, around 9. The value of the steam turbo around it will go to 9. If you see for hydro, the value will come for H is around 4. So what we have observed here is steam turbo or turbines are very good for something mismatches happened or some disturbances happened to the system. Because of this inertia only we can overcome that synchronization. So it will regain its synchronization because of the inertia. But if you see in the hydro turbine or turbo, it is lesser than the steam. So in this hydro I can't able to get that much of inertia, or inertia is very little comparing to the steam. And if you think about the solar is very negligible. H is equal to maybe equally we will get 0 only, means there is not at all any inertia. So from renewable energy, if the system is get power from some renewable energy and hydro and solar, so if three things are feeding to a system, this turbo is going to be playing an important role if some disturbances occurred, because due to its H, that is inertia itself, it will overcome fast than hydro. And the solar is 0, we can't able to expect anything. If some mismatches happen, definitely it's going to be shut down if you are using only the solar. So during that time the steam is going to be playing an important role, steam and hydro also sometimes, because of some inertia, inertia value of H constant is 4. So we can get some important contribution from hydro and steam, but not in the solar. So that is the case. Then the steam engines or steam turbo generators are going to be helpful to overcome this synchronization because some disturbances happened. If that is the case, from this equation we can find out for different values or different system given to your hand, you can find out what is the H value, and then we can come to conclusion whether it is stable or not. This is the starting beginning definitions or beginning formulas to know about the swing equation. So these things we need to understand before starting the swing equation. So what is swing equation? Using the swing equation, it will give the values or change in position of the rotor with respect to the time. So how much this rotor is changed with respect to different times because of some disturbances occurred, we will get to know using the swing equation. So this swing equation will play an important role to find out the synchronization of all the power system. So because of that we will start the swing equation now. Swing equation, I already mentioned that, gives the change in position of the rotor with respect to the time when a disturbance is occurred. In general or without any disturbance or before disturbance, before disturbance or in the steady state condition. Class is going on, yes. Just a minute. Just tell me.
Can I attend this later, sir?
Yeah, you can. It is recording. Steady state condition. So under the steady state condition, if you see the torque at M, torque M is nothing but your shaft torque. So before doing that, I will draw a small diagram here. So for example, if this is the generator and the shaft is given some rotational force, mechanical or some rotational force, and I will call this as the torque Tm. So this is because of the force you are applying, this is mechanical power. So this is the mechanical power, and the torque due to this mechanical power, if it is rotating in this direction, and the electrical torque Te will oppose this mechanical torque and it will produce some power. So this is P. So we know that these both are in opposite direction because of your mechanical power giving to this, and there is an electrical torque opposing this, and then the electric power is generated. And if these both are equal in general condition, in steady state condition, this Tm must be equal to Te. If both are equal, then we can call this as the stable, or there is no any acceleration or deceleration, or we can call this as the speed is constant. Speed is constant and it is the steady state operation. We need to always get this type of things. The mechanical force, because of that the torque produced Tm must be equal to the torque produced at the electrical side. So if both are same, then we will call it this is the steady state condition, or there is no any disturbance in the system. In other words, if there is a disturbance, during disturbance this Ts or Tm minus Te must be 0, but it is not 0, it will look like Tj. There is a new component called Tj minus Tb. So these two things is what making the system not equal to 0, but I need these two things must be 0, or otherwise this should be absent. Because of these two components, what is this? Tj is nothing but inertia torque. Because of this inertia torque and damping torque, this is nothing but damping torque. This damping torque is produced because of the damping winding. Usually they will build to reduce the acceleration. Because of this damping torque and inertia torque, these two things will not be equal to 0, and some value will be there. If you calculate these two things, some value will be there. Okay, so this makes the system not running in the constant speed, or otherwise this Tm is not equal to Te during the disturbance is occurred. So we need to understand how this disturbance is happening by solving the swing equation. So before starting the swing equation, we need to understand about this basic concept or basic idea, right? So with this system, or with this things, we need to assume, before starting the swing equation, some assumption we need to make. So the assumptions are: winding, friction and iron loss torques are negligible. The differential equation governing the rotor dynamics can be written as, so they are telling the winding, friction, iron loss are negligible, and in after that I can write this Tj. So finally I derived that if this Tb is eliminated, because it is not going to be that much problem. So this, if you are eliminating this damping torque, so remaining torque will be Tj, and we come up that this Tj is nothing but Ts or Tm minus T. We can call this as Tm or Ts, both are same. This is nothing but shaft torque, we will call shaft torque or mechanical torque, and this is electrical torque. Both are same. In some textbook you can see this is Ts, and some textbook this Tm, so both are same, don't get confused. And then finally this inertia torque, inertia torque is nothing but is equal to, if you are eliminating this, and Tm minus Te will be the final one. And we know that this inertia torque can be written as J d square theta m divided by dt square. So this J is nothing but the inertia torque, or this J is nothing but inertia. We will generally call this J as the inertia, and then moment of inertia, this is nothing but, so this is moment of inertia is equal to the mechanical torque minus the electrical torque in Newton meter. We come up with this equation, and with the assumption that all the friction losses and iron losses are eliminated. So this is the first equation we derived, or we come up with it. Here if you see, this theta m is nothing but mechanical angle in radian per second, or radian, mechanical angle in radian for mechanical, and then this Tm we already stated that is the torque due to the mechanical torque, or mechanical This is mechanical torque and this is electrical torque. And then if I multiply this equation, if I call this equation as 1, if I multiply this equation 1 with respect to both side on omega s m. Why? Because I need to convert this mechanical quantity into the electrical quantity, or converting into the torque into the power, electrical power. So first step I need to do is I need to multiply this equation both sides with omega s m. So if I do that, then I will come up with the equation like j omega s m d square theta by dt square is equal to omega s m t m minus omega s m t e. And then we know this is nothing but power due to the mechanical minus this is nothing but power due to the electrical. So we converted that mechanical quantity into the electrical quantity, and finally we come up with this j omega s m d square theta divided by dt is nothing but Pm minus Pe in Newton megawatt. So this is equation 2, and I already mentioned that this is nothing but the mechanical power and this is nothing but the electrical power. And then we know this, we derived just now, omega sm is nothing but 2 by P omega s. In the last slide we have derived that, and if I apply this value in equation 2, if I call this as the equation 2 here, and this, if you apply the equation 2 with this value 2 by P omega s, wherever omega sm is there, then I will come up with the value of j 2 by P omega s into the 10 to the power of minus 6, and then I will get this quantity I have drawn, and then finally I will get d square theta divided by dt and is equal to Pm minus Pe. And next if I further simplify, I will get the value j 2 by P omega s into the 10 to the power of minus 6, and then if I convert this theta m, this is theta m, sorry, this is theta m. We know that theta m is nothing but 2 by P into theta e, because I completely want to convert all this mechanical into the electrical. So I will replace this theta m with 2 by P theta e, then I will get 2 by P d square theta e divided by dt is equal to Pm minus Pe. And further if I simplify, so further if I simplify the above equation, I will get if you see this part is nothing but m. We already see that this is nothing but the m value, and if I replace this value with m, then I will get m d square theta e divided by dt is equal to Pm minus Pe. So this is more convenient to measure the angular position of the rotor with respect to the synchronously rotating frame of the reference. So by using this thing, I can able to find out my or measure my angular position of the rotor. Okay, so this equation is very important, and with this we are going to find out the power angle. So next thing we need to find out the power angle.
Sir?
Yes, ma.
Hitesh is waiting from such long time and you are not letting him in.
I am not doing that, but because you know that it will disturb all our 64 students here. Correct or not? I given a time to join. If they are coming late, how I can? I need to take care of 64 people, not only one people, right? You should not complain on me. I allowed all the people, and I also sent the thing email. If he is waiting for a long time, even I was waiting for you to join long time. If students are coming late, then how can I allow? How you are speaking, I don't know. Who is that? Aisha. Did I not allow anyone if they're coming to the correct time? Okay, come back to the class. The next thing is power angle. So next we need to find out is power angle, because this is also playing an important role, because we need to find out where the rotor is, where it is mismatching, where the synchronization is missed. If you know that, then we can do some other factors, or we can adjust that to regain to the original position or the synchronized position. So we need to understand about not only the inertia, and also we need to find out the power angle. If we need to find out the power angle, we need to understand, say for example, if this is the Fm of the stator of the machine, or stator of the stator position, and running with the value of omega s. So this is the stator speed, and if I am taking this as the reference, so from here only it is started, both rotor as well as the stator. If this is the reference angle, reference axis I call, and the stator is moved from here to here with the time of t. So the time taken to reach here is nothing but t in second. So to reach from this reference to this for the stator is time taken is t, and the angle of the rotor, if it is running here, if this is the rotor angle Fr, and with the speed of omega, if this rotor is rotating with the speed of omega, and the angle from this reference to reach this position for this rotor is theta e with respect to the time, theta e with respect to the time. So this is the angle from reference to the rotor, and the difference between the rotor and the stator is nothing but del t. So this is the difference between the rotor and stator. And then yeah, so say for example, this is the rotor, this is the rotor position or angle. I need to find out the power angle or rotor angle. So if this is the condition, from this condition I need to convert the power angle into the mathematical model. So for that I need to find out the difference between the stator and rotor. So that is nothing but delta. So if I write delta is equal to nothing but the theta e. So theta is the total angle between the reference and rotor. If you minus this with respect to omega s, omega is nothing but the angular speed of this frame with respect to the t, then I will get this delta. If I subtract this total angle theta e minus omega s t, then I will get these things. This is nothing but from here to here, if you subtract this two, then I will get this delta t. So that is what the aim of this. And for the convenience, if I differentiate this equation 2 times, then I will get delta t d square theta e divided by dt is equal to d square del divided by dt. So at that time I will get only this one, and this will be the constant. So because the stator is going to be a constant, so it will be get eliminated, and only I will get these two things. And if I multiply, or if I see my actual Singh equation, so what is Singh equation? swing equation is nothing but I will come up with the value of we already know that this delta square theta e by dt is nothing but my m d square m d square del divided by dt square is nothing but is equal to d square theta e divided by dt, and this things is nothing but difference between theta square del by dt is nothing but Pm minus Pe. So if I substitute these two value in this equation, I will come finally the swing equation as m d square del divided by dt square is equal to Pm minus Pe. So this is nothing but the swing equation in megawatt. So this is the swing equation. Okay, so this values we derived. How we come this? We have derived just in few slide back. So with this concept, we know what is the power angle equation from this phasor diagram, and from this phasor diagram we just applied the value and we got the swing equation. By solving this swing equation, we can able to get the change in position of the rotor with respect to the stator as a function of time over a specific number of cycles during a disturbance. Some disturbance is happened, then with respect to that disturbance, how much this stator and rotor is mismatched, or the position difference between the position of the stator and rotor angle, we will get to know from this swing equation. From that we can understand how badly it is not in the synchronized. We will get to know by applying this swing equation or by solving the swing equation. And under the steady state condition, this Pm is equal to Pe is equal to d square del divided by dt square, that is nothing but this is the value. I already said this thing should be equal to 0. If this is 0, then we can call we are in the steady state condition, or there is no any disturbance in the system. Okay, and during the disturbance, there is two chances, that is this Pm minus Pe may be greater than 0, or this Pm minus Pe may be lesser than 0. If this is the case, then we can call the rotor speed is increasing, or this is acceleration, that is rotor speed is increasing. Then to make it as 0, so we need to decrease it as a compensation. So we need to reduce the speed of the rotor, and if this is the case, that is Pm minus Pe is lesser than 0, then this is deceleration. During this time, this rotor speed is decreasing. So during this time we need to increase to make this steady state condition. So by observing this, we know whether we need to increase the rotor speed or we need to decrease the rotor speed. Accordingly, we can find out by using this swing equation, and then we are ready to make the system into the stability, or we can able to make the system a stability by doing any other adjustments that you need to take care. You need to do research on that, but by seeing this swing equation, we need to identify where is the position of this rotor with respect to the reference frame or with respect to the stator. So if you know these two difference and whether it is increasing or decreasing, then we can come to some solutions. Okay, so this is called swing equation, very important equation, and in next classes we are going to solve this swing equation problems and some techniques are there to solve this swing equation. We are going to see 3 to 4 different methods to solve this swing equation for different problem statement given to us. Okay, so that's all about swing equation today we have seen. If you have any doubt, you can ask me now. Just a minute, I will stop the recording.